Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Rampant Mumblings podcast, and in today's show I'm going to be doing a review of something called PrescenePro. It's an app that will turn your old iOS device or Android device into a sort of live streaming motion detection two-way video calling device, which is going to be good if, like me, you've somehow ended up with a couple of old iOS devices that you haven't really quite got around to shifting just yet. Sometimes in the world you wonder just how you've managed to accumulate a couple of iOS devices that you never quite get around to selling. PrescenePro turns your old iOS or Android device into a security camera with features such as you'd expect, like motion detection, two-way video calls, and you can even control plugs or lights right from the accessory. Streaming setup. All you need to get going is a device with a camera which is also capable of running iOS 6. Just install the free app from the App Store, log in even, designate your device as a camera or a viewer, and that's it. Once connected to the PrescenePro servers, you can either live stream to another device or to your desktop. Whilst in streaming mode, the camera and screen are always on, but a handy dim screen feature does just that, lowering the brightness all the way down to barely visible whilst the camera is active to save both screen and battery. Just remember to set your device not to automatically lock or it will stop the app from running. Motion detection works fine during the day, but at night on an iPhone 4, camera noise would trigger movement. Thankfully, there is a sensitivity adjustment that allows motion area sizes to be dialed up and down to compensate for this. This effectively changes just how big motion needs to be to trigger a recording. An example, in the most extreme setting, tall weeds blowing in the wind would trigger motion detecting, but increasing the size of the motion detection area, I could get it to only trigger when a car entered my drive. You can choose to have this motion detection footage emailed or tweeted to you, and is available by the PrescenePro website under videos. In the free version, you are limited to just 50 megabytes of video. This works out roughly to be 1 megabyte equals 10 seconds of video in my very unscientific testing. Of course, you will eke out more if you turn off sound recording under options. Viewing the stream. Connecting via browser has been an incredibly hit and miss affair, often being stuck at the connecting to stream dialog box, despite my phone saying this camera is being watched remotely. Desktop streaming appears, and I say appears, to require the dreaded Adobe Flash Player, which might account for the lack of streaming action within Safari, yet I could view videos in Safari, so I can't stream, but I can view. PrescenePro.com shows the HDMI5 imagery, but I don't know, my results have just been incredibly hit and miss getting anything to run. Also, I had wondered why PrescenePro.com used an obviously badly Photoshop shrunken iPhone image in their App Store listing. I worked it out, and that's to hide the fact, I should say, that the streaming or motion detection video doesn't take up the whole screen. When the stream eventually loaded onto my desktop, the video was fluid, maintaining a solid frames per second unless it was dark or the app was trying to refocus on something that a focus lock would easily solve. Testing outside in excellent weather conditions and using a combination of 3G, ADSL or fibre, stream quality was sadly never consistent. Sometimes the stream would be clear enough to make out people's faces, car number plates, and in general. Other times it was a flashback to real player video, dial-up modem quality. In streaming mode, you don't get a copy of the video stream for archiving unless you're in the aforementioned motion detection mode. On the plus side, video lag is an acceptable 10 seconds on average, and motion detection footage is as good as the quality of the camera you're recording on. Despite the small resolution, viewing footage on a full-screen 20-inch iMac looks okay, and I will have a link to the video in the show notes. Only after saving a sample motion detection file was I able to see the video is streamed at 480 by 360, 29.13 frames per second using the H.264 codec. Unfortunately, there is no information anywhere on the app or the website, nor what sort of streaming quality you can expect to get if you make the in-app purchase. So that just seems a little bit disingenuous to me. Overall, in its free incarnation, it's an interesting idea to repurpose your iOS devices into a video surveillance /webcam /live streaming doohickey. A few questions arise to lack of information, a rather strange image they've used on the Apple App Store. That's going to be in the show notes. I can't work out for me why they've had to use such a badly cropped Photoshop image. Overall, it's not too bad. There are a few limitations which are obviously opened up with the in-app purchases. There's plenty of settings to adjust sensitivity, but unfortunately the lack of a focus lock does detract from the experience. So overall, I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. It's not bad, but could be better. You can read a more in-depth review over at essentialmac.co.uk, and if you have any questions, please contact me via the Twitter, or you can use a contact us form on essentialmac.co.uk. And until the next time, ta-da everyone.